beginning of the match, but you never really see killers spawn up in main building. It's usually either like one water tower around this corner that they're running over to in Gallows. When we find our first survivor in the shack area, but they're going to be bringing us over to mid, possibly trying to get into main building with this pallet. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a greed here, just like we saw right now. We need to buy a little more time. We're going to be taking the tag over to like 4 area if you use an A clock, and see what the survivor does when he moves over to water tower. It looks like this is the preferred death spot for our survivor players. So moving over back over the 4, this is a nice tile, even against Wraith, but breaking that wall wouldn't even be the end of the world. Now our survivor is like locked in a 50-50, but he overextended a little bit, and that's a hit. Unfortunate for Jonas.
Nice down.
Yeah, very quick down coming in.
Very much so, and it will be interesting to see what the choice is here. Is do we go for a pain res immediately to just try to kind of hinder this progress here on any gens that are being moved, or are we going to maybe look for a late game pain res? Now, juggling pain res is one of the most, not one of the most difficult things, but it's definitely something, it's a skill for sure. So we are going to see a pain res come in, as we're going to get Chase here now. Seems with Bullies. Billy's playing this very unsafe pallet. See if we can greed this a little bit. He's probably going to drop here. Nice hit there from Nina, as Nina's going to cloak back up, break that pallet. And one of the most important things about Dead Dog, especially with Wraith sets, is how many pallets are getting dropped as well. You know, there is going to come a point in this map where there is going to be very little pallets and very little resources. So this could get very dicey, dropping all these pallets so early, especially with no gens. Jesus.
Yeah, especially with no gens like you just said, and especially for our tunnel out. Oh, we're getting a lot of pressure with the Sloppy Butcher coming in. But with this tunnel out, less pallets to work with, it's going to come in just that much faster. Unless they could do an FTP play at Shack. That is a very big possibility. But we only have one person that's actually able to come for the unhook.
Yeah, absolutely. I think now Cheese is going to have to come for this. And it's going to be a nice miss here. Nina, though, protecting this very well, but Jones is going to potentially hit second here, and this could be a pretty big disaster, especially with 4 generators left here, and this is Jones moving to second stage here. This is not looking good. I would say this, getting a lot of the resources out, especially around the hook here. Some very strong pallets as well. The one behind Gallows. It's a very, very important, or not important, it's a very strong one, and especially once that Shack pallet's gone, this could potentially spell disaster here for the Survivor team.
And we just see another tag come through. Everybody's injured. Like, Jonas could very well like not even get off this hook with everybody being injured, although we do see a reset come in, which kind of tells us that we have 2 people not on gens. Like, we just saw absolutely. Cheese over by 4. That's really, really rough for these Survivor players. We have our healthy Survivor being found, but we have that injured Pole coming in. That's crazy. Probably going to wait to drop this. He needs to buy as much time as he can, Jonas does. It's really, really rough on his side right now. And we saw that pallet over at 3 drop earlier, so he has to possibly run into the active gens here.
Yeah, absolutely. This is not a very good look for the Survivors right now, especially with the amount of pressure built up here. A nice down as well. Jones going down, and that's Jones dead. You know, this is pretty rough, honestly, for the Survivor side of things. Honestly, I think that you need to get a reset off here. I think that it's really, really important, because otherwise, you know, this pressure is just going to amount so much so that people are going to start falling like flies, as we're going to see our ace taking Chase here, and he's going to go down immediately as well. And, you know, we haven't even used our other 3 pain reses here, so this is really, really good for Nina. Nina playing incredibly well on this Dead Dog set, as he's going to get hooked towards Water Tower here. See if it's another pain res, and that just stings. That just stings so much so. Everyone injured with that Sloppy Butcher is going to make it so difficult to get any type of resets off, as you're going to see Nina head straight over towards that Shack side, just to make sure that this 3-gen here on the backside is going to be intact. Nice kick here. And we do spot someone, and it does seem to be Dance. He's going to take a free tag here, and that player has to go topside now. That player has to go upwards towards, you know, 11, and there's no one that came for that save.
Ooh, but the save actually does come through. We have 2 survivors right here. We know where everybody's general area is. This can be really bad, especially with people injured. Wraith can actually slug people out really, really easily with his mobility and whatnot. But he's probably going to take his painters. Oh, no, going for the slug. He's going to try and see if he can slug everybody out, because I'd imagine Dennis, who we injured a bit earlier, is going to be like up in main area, but possibly rotating for the pickup right now, considering where Solar is deciding to down himself.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is still not ideal, though. This is going to be quite hard to find, Dance, but at this point in time, this is still a really, really rough position, because essentially, even though you are slugging, it's still like having those hooks. People have to travel so far to get to these players, get any type of reset off, try to regain control back on the map, and it's just not happening right now. As you can see, Nina has found our Lara here on the backside here towards 7, and it's gonna look like she's gonna have to drop this, but as soon as this pallet is gone and broken, there is nothing here, absolutely nothing here. Dance is the last player standing here, and this is looking very, very rough. There's gonna have to be a miracle pulled off in this game. As you're gonna see Ace getting picked up, Solar, we remember where they were. It was over by the 11 o'clock as well. So this Nina knows exactly where they potentially could be heading, and yep, found immediately as a nice drop. But again, nowhere to go. Nice smash hit though, Value, it seems like, as they head over towards 1 o'clock here. And it's going to have to be another pre-drop. Going to have to buy some time here just to potentially get everyone up. And there, everyone is up. Down goes our Ace. But I feel like we're just bouncing between slugs at the moment.
It's gonna. I feel like the only scenario that these guys like get out of this is if they're able to somehow get a heal up, and then that person, and then like the injured person hides, and we just have some stealth coming through. But these survivors have had a rough time this game trying to stealth out the map, and if we see 2 injured survivors right next to each other and the fast down comes in, then the game is probably over.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, I agree. I think that someone, we had a really nice chase from Solo to try to actually get some pressure back in the hands of the survivors. Some free drops coming down, and the same thing needs to happen here, but unfortunately not going to happen. And it looks like we also have eyes on Solo, and this could be game right now. I mean, unfortunately for the survivors, yeah, you're right, they needed to get a reset off. They needed to take some pressure, alleviate some pressure off the hands of the remaining players, and it just didn't happen. Unfortunately, especially with some of the stronger pallets gone as well. I think that made it very, very, very difficult for them to gain any time back or any favor back in the hands, as we're going to see a swing and a miss. Dan's just going to be playing this pallet really, really well in front of main. But Bloodlust 1 coming in, and this could be a down here, and yeah, this is looking like all she wrote here, potentially, as Solar has also been spotted as well.
As long as our killer Nina just zones Solar away from the survivors, there should be no chance of a pickup, and we're way too close to even. Oh no, it's gonna be a down here, I believe. Yeah.
Oh no.
4K3 coming in. That's what That's what this Wraith needs to win the match. He needs to get his quick downs and possibly pain resists in. I'm not sure if he could even like reliably get a tunnel out. He has to really rely on the survivors making a lot of mistakes and maybe a slug out, I believe, with a 4K4 win con.
I think that if I'm playing this Wraith, I very much am looking for potentially even 2 slugs at the start here, just to gain so much pressure here. As we're gonna see, Luffy is gonna be chasing Nina heading towards that shack side, and Luffy just deciding to opt out of that chase. Now, I don't know if this is a calculated decision, knowing where another survivor is potentially. It seems like we have found someone here. Looks like our Tori, so chase is in main.
Yeah, main is also really rough for the Wraith, but it looks like a pretty quick tag's gonna be coming in because that. Oh wait, maybe not. We have the like main tile to the left here, but no, it still comes in, moving over towards Shack. He's going to be leaving the chase, actually opting to apply Sloppy Butcher to see if he can get more pressure. Moving over to 1 over here.
Yeah, absolutely, and we do find someone here as well. It seems like we have found Razor, but what was nice from the Tory is that we didn't drop that pallet as well. So it's nice that we still have some resources around main building, as we're going to see Raider in first chase breaking that breakable door now. As Raider is going to be kind of playing around 1 o'clock, going to probably take a free hit here potentially. Nice kind of discipline to not drop that pallet, as we're going to cloak back up, head towards the middle of the map. Reset has come in though, and where was reset? Seems like it might have been towards 7, as we are going to find Nina again on this water tower, as we're going to be chasing around water tower. Now this is a long tedious one, as the Nina drops that water tower pallet, breaking it immediately, and this is going to be Nina heading towards 2, potentially trying to make it towards Shack. What do you think about this chase?
This chase looks like it could potentially go for a long time even without a tag. Like, you see not even getting the hit through the window. Personally, I've chased Nina before, even on 200 ping, and Nina is not the easiest chase at all. Very, very unique pathing. But we're going to be moving over to the bottom side of the map. We see some scratch marks, and Nina is found again, but I don't think a tag will be coming in anytime soon. Possibly moving over, we're going to keep at this little filler here. Tag possibly coming in. Yep, and not dropping the pallet. That's like a really nice pattern we've seen with the survivors. They're doing really good about, like, okay, I'm getting hit here, I'm not going to drop the pallet, when a lot of people would be panicking.
Absolutely, I think that's also really good as well, because you have such strong tiles as well, very close, straight past Shack. So we're going to see Luffy as well back on the Tory on main. Not going to take the drop there, and there is the first generator popped, as we're going to be going through main. And there is the second generator pop. So really, this is going to be really, really rough with not a down to be seen. And Tori as well playing this main building really, really well here, as we're going to be heading towards 9 o'clock, heading up the map. And, you know, at this point, do you just choose for a place to die, or go down here potentially to waste as much time with the Wraith here as possible? Are we going to drop the pallet? We are not going to drop the pallet as well. So this is giving, again, still some more resources potentially for a later game.
I wouldn't be surprised if we had survivors working on 5 anytime soon. Main had a lot of progress, but, you know, Zenny just died next to it. But we have Nina injured. Nina's probably going to be working a safer gen, if I had to guess. We need to see, like, if we can find any survivors, any of the healthy ones even. This Tycon is going to be hard to meet, but we see Nina and Raider here. No tag coming in though, unfortunate.
No. We're going to be seeing who Luffy decides to actually elect to choose. It does seem to be Nina towards that 7 o'clock 6. But again, is this the chase that you particularly want? This is very strong structures with very safe pallets, as you're going to see Luffy just drop chase. You're going to be looking for the Tory here in main building, and again, we're electing to have this chase in main, and you can see Raider is there too, not electing to body block for the Tory. So this is going to be an interesting kind of time waste here potentially. Nice pallet drop there, finally going down on the 11 o'clock, and now heading towards 12 as our Wraith cloaks back up now. And you have to think some of these more dangerous gens are potentially going to be worked on, and you can just see how much time is being wasted here. And this is going to be really, really harsh, because now you have to carry this survivor all the way back into the middle of the map, and then cloak up, and then find out which generators are actually being worked on. This is really, really good work from the survivor team here.
Yeah, Zinni wasting a lot of time, actually doing a great job, even though he was caught out in the 11 corner, which isn't exactly the most safe tile. He made the most of it, died all the way in the corner while wasting maybe, if I had to guess, around 30 seconds of time, and that's a good, decent bit of a generator, even if doubled. We see 6 over here almost finished. Zinni's probably going to get pulled across the map now. Now we've lost our tunnel at pressure and the win con. That is unfortunate. Although I do not believe our Wraith did play poorly this match. He was trying to play for a really difficult win con, and I do commend him for trying to meet that standard.
Absolutely, and it seems like Nina is the FTP player. As you can see, Nina broken there in your HUD, moving that house state, and down goes our Adam here as Luffy now hooking. And there's the pain res, so we have the 2 pain reses. I just think that, you know, I don't think that yeah, I don't think that we played badly at all. I think that it was just a really difficult win con for Luffy, as you're gonna see an elected chase onto Tori. This is essentially death hook for this Tori for Zin, and it looks like Luffy again electing to completely drop chase here. And you know, the 3-gen, you know, is still towards this bottom side of the map, towards the 7 to 9, and we're gonna find Nina here, who is broken from that for the people play, as you're gonna see this dance around this nice kind of potential mind game, but Nina having absolutely none of it, and she is going to drop Pallet here and make her way around. Pallet is broken here, and another gen gone. We're down to 1 generator. Jesus.
Yeah, it's looking kind of rough. The survivors just put him in a very, very rough scenario where they had Zinni, who was Death Hook, like very enticing person to kill, right? But we have like 2 survivors working on bot side, so we have to leave that, and then Zinni gets the unhook for free. It's really, really rough for our Wraith player here.
Absolutely. I mean, realistically, it was just a really well played from the survivor side, giving, you know, making Luffy choose and kind of enticing, like you said, Zin, to just be the potential death hook. But, you know, it was so difficult, and we're now electing to leave Nina on the ground here. We are going to find our Adam here, who's also playing Shaq. But there's someone, you know, Raider we haven't even in a while. And Raider is just silently working away on generators. And that's, you know, really, really difficult as well, considering, you know, Rune is still up as well.
Did we just see a mirrored illusion?
We did just see a mirrored illusion. You know, I would have loved to have seen Luffy swing for that. That would have been fantastic.
That would have been great.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Like, right now, actually, I wouldn't even put it out of the realm of possibility for Luffy to still get a 4K. Like, this 3-gen is tight. But
yes,
really.
really.
We do also have Ruin up, too. And if Ruin gets cleansed, Eruption, I think, would even be better in this situation. Because we have 4 people up at the moment. If we are able to get Zinni out with everybody being injured, I wouldn't imagine we're going to be attacking this 3-gen while injured.
Absolutely, and it looks like we're going to catch Nina out as well after being picked up here, but the pallet going to be dropped in front of main. Nina just going to make distance, seems like smash hit, and she is heading towards that 3 o'clock, just pulling him away from the 3-gen. Luffy cannot be swayed into that chase. He has to go back to protect this 3-gen if he wants any kills in this match. As you can see, it seems like Nina as well heading towards that 4 o'clock side, that water tower there. Nina caught out at 3, but this is so far away from the 3 generators, and you cannot imagine that 3 players are probably sat on a generator, and this is going to be a force pull here, and this could potentially be the last generator popping in any second now, really.
Yeah, we just had all the resets coming through because like, we just had everybody injured. Really good position for our Wraith player, but Nina was able to last long enough and chase everybody to get their resets in. It's really, really rough for our Wraith player here. We're going to possibly be working on 9 and Gallows, although that gen over an 8 corner is pretty risky. We could have one person working that like very stealthily, maybe giving up, like giving the killers some more pressure and whatnot if they can't even find that survivor working on 8, especially if they're healthy there. Really,
this is really rough. This is really rough. You know, at any time as well, Raider pulling, as you saw Luffy, all the way over to main. And, you know, this makes it so difficult. You know, you kind of want to have the chase, but you don't have the luxury, you know, because is probably working on a gen, is probably going to be in that 7 pocket by 10th side, as Nina is going to be having this chase quite close to the 3 gen. But, you know, we have two pain reses still in play, but and is still up. But again, I think that someone is probably still working on that gen as Bloodlust 1 comes in. Nice swing and a miss, as you're going to see Nina take that vault, and it's, oh my gosh, no, Luffy getting caught there. That is going to cause an absolute disaster. Oh gosh,
insane place on this filler.
Absolutely, and this is not even that safe. He has to just break this, but he will lose his bloodlust if he does. Really nicely done. Finally going down is Nina, and that is just really well played by Nina. Just a lot of time wasting as well on such a small filler palette. Really well played Luffy, though I think maybe the nerves getting the better of him, as he is potentially going to hook here, but it's a little too late, because as you said, that 8 o'clock generator has popped, and now we're going to be looking for the end game.
Yep, we're going to be chasing Zinni up in May, possibly. No, I think we it might just be best for them to try and camp this out and see what they can do with it, because the gates are fairly far away and Wraith is a high mobility killer. Although they're going to be like greeting for some from extra stages here. Zinni is the tunnel out too, so I can see why they wouldn't elect to go after him.
Absolutely, as unfortunately we're going to see a down on our Adam here, but at the same time simultaneously Nina getting saved, so you can assume that they probably either they will reset or they'll send Nina over to that gate over towards 1 o'clock to start that. As you can see, Raider has been spotted towards water tower now. No pallet here, unfortunately, for Raider. Raider kind of zoned off this, but you know, really well played by Raider to try and lead kind of quite far away from the hook and also towards that back exit gate. So you're gonna see Raider take that tag heading up towards 3. And there is no pallet. There is a pallet here, but it's really unsafe. So let's just see how this goes, as the pallet drop is going to happen. And there is the gesture. So no backflips there,
Yeah,
as this is really difficult.
I believe that we just had a reset, maybe like a skill check miss over on Nick. But picking tag for Zinni going up towards Shag. Zinni is still not what he wants. He does not want one more stage. He wants somebody with more. I believe our Adam has a lot of stages. I'm not sure how many Raider has.
I believe this Raider's first hook, actually. I think there's 2 people that haven't been hooked.
You can take this fresh from the basement.
Absolutely. And realistically, you know, survivors, if they want to, you know, typically in comp, you know, you'll just leave this player potentially, unless you have something to play for, like your deliverance, whatnot. But they could potentially go for a save here if they reset here and potentially split up, take hits, and open these gates. And you can see all 3 players found resetting towards that 6 o'clock. Nina heading towards that gate, and you can see 2 players coming down. Tori has been spotted, but that is not the unhooker. It seems like our Adam, he's going to be waiting this out. He's going to try to get the body block, and he's going to be very impatient, a bit overzealous there. Tori also taking a slap, and I think this potentially is a 4 out here. I think so, unless our Tori gets caught off here. Now, the only...
This pig is not in a good position.
Absolutely, you can see their white auras on the generator, so we do have Corrupt in play, as we're going to be sneaking around Shaq. It's all very quiet, isn't it, Jesus?
Very quiet.
We were being quiet to give her stealth, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's how it works in Dead by Daylight. You have to whisper when they're stealthing. As you can see, Constill. Constill has found players in main building.
We're opting to break the door. I don't even know if like the door being broken on Pig will help you a whole lot, because like without Bamboozle, this can be a rough situation. Like, seeing as they broke the door, you can kind of assume that they do not have Bamboozle on their build. So they're trying to play for a lot of different types of things, possibly even just some stages without a tunnel out.
Absolutely. I think here it's you know, you might see more of that tunneling style of gameplay, just purely because Pig is so difficult and rough, like when it comes to, especially again, like we were talking about with those 3 gens. And also just here, we're going to hear the first generator pop, and I'm not actually too sure, but that is definitely towards, like, potentially the 1 side, I believe. Actually, I'm not too sure where that is, where that gen pop was. And it looks like it might have been water tower.
You're going water tower 8, right, Novus? That's your clock?
Oh yeah, water tower 8. Sorry,
okay.
yes, no, sorry, my fault. Yeah, I don't want to cross comms here. So it looks like Zin's going to be in first chase here, though, and again, playing a very nice, kind of safe palette, redropping this, and Bloodlust 2 coming in from Constill. What do you think of this?
Dirty.
Very nice, like, break of LOS, double back mind game there. And Zinni was not expecting the killer to do anything like that. We're gonna have a hook right in front of main. Will this be a pain res? It will be unfortunate, but we can maybe, right now, since Corrupt is now down, we can see some people working in Gallows trying to break that 3 gen, leaving up main for the last gen.
Absolutely, I think that this is a important down as well, where it happened as well. It's quite central to the map, so you have quite easy access points here, so this could spell a bit of disaster for our survivors side here. So you're gonna see, we're gonna see Raider here now in chase initially. Do you think
Like-
that's a good idea, or would you want to leave that one towards last? You know?
I would want to leave it towards last. We could maybe have like put our resources in the finishing 12 instead,
Mm-hmm.
and then like maybe in the gallows area, and like just imagine working on main building, like, and there's other gens that can pressure, but the pig cannot run main building very well at all.
Yeah,
Pretty
absolutely.
quick down coming in on Raider as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, this is going to be more generators. It sounds like they've got some progression here. I'm going to say see if this is another pain res, and it is. So we did also catch eyes as well of Nina, but we know now here Claudette has got the reset off on Zin, and Zin's timer is ticking away here. So you know, if you're Constill, do you just look for this player? Do you just look for Zin?
I don't know if I would look for Zin because he is not doing a whole lot. Like, possibly if you were to find him, I would chase him, try to waste more of his time in his head trap and whatnot without getting in the chase. But if we can find any survivors around here that aren't working on generators, because we know for a fact Zinni should not be working on a generator right now, as he actually gets his head trap off right now. We're probably working bottom gens considering that the hook is up top side as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I said before, you know, before this match started, you know, I said there was potentially a 3-gen topside, and there is, if you can see. Look, it's not tight, but it's still pretty loose, but it still potentially could cause a lot of problems here for the survivors side. So maybe be looking for one of these top generators to be kind of moved. And I would, you know, I feel that sometimes Gallows and Main are sometimes the gens you kind of potentially, especially against M1 killers like Pig, like Wraith, that you maybe want to leave these generators towards the end just so you can have a bit more time and a little bit more easier comms and time to escape here. We're going to find Nina here on Water Tower here, pallet going down immediately from Nina. I believe that is Smash hit as well coming into play, heading towards potentially, it seems like, are these active gens potentially up here?
Yeah, it looks like we're electing to go back down to Water Tower and see how long we can last chase here. You know, if anything, we get it. Actually, Nina loses a 50-50. Unlike last game, Nina lost that 50-50 fairly quickly. Gonna be moving over to Shack, so we could just guess that the survivors are trying to work on one of the gens up top side, possibly 3 or 1. I didn't see anybody towards 12 side, so I wouldn't guess that. But let's see, we might be moving over to main side, just running alongside Shack, it looks like, possibly trying to take a window, double back into Gallows area. Trying to see if anybody's working up here. We find that looks like Naxalnik working on Gallows gen, a whiff coming through. This chase is not going to be great for our killer. Let's see if he drops it. Yeah, he's going to be moving over to 3 area.
Absolutely, and then this is that 3-gen that we talked about as well. It's still loose, but it's still very much there. So I think the survivors are aware of this as well, and I wouldn't be surprised if they are looking for that 12 o'clock gen. Exactly what I thought, as we are going to get eyes on Nina running away into the distance as she's going to be heading toward main. And it looks like we also have found ourselves a radar here towards the 1 o'clock, still head trap on, but still in chase. And this is kind of what you want to see, is this chase here. I think this is potentially going to be another down. Hopefully can apply this eruption here. And here comes the sneaking, as we look like this could be the end of this chase potentially.
We have an eruption coming through on 3. Let's see if we see any survivors. I believe I saw an aura over by 3 area, but this gen spread is just not sustainable for our pig player. I'd imagine we will be seeing outs in the near future unless something happens. Oh, I spoke too soon.
Absolutely.
Yep, there we go. Last gen pops. And as we can see, we have haste on the right side of our screen. No
Yeah,
medics
absolutely.
in play.
So, and it's whether or not these survivors are going to be able to find this as Shack pallet gone. But at this point, this is essentially, you do want to kind of play this safe. And so it is nice, but I believe this pallet is still up back Gallows, heading towards that 7 side here, as we're going to be dropping this pallet as well. So it's nicely done. And we are going to be just dropping these, playing this safe, you know, buying enough time for the team, especially when you have someone with active traps on this. Sin just doing a really nice job at playing that mind game, but unfortunately Noed has now been revealed, and it's whether or not they're just going to take the 3 out here potentially and just make Raider potentially find Hatch, or you're going to let Raider have to find this, you know, head trap. You know, this head trap could be a problem. I'm not too sure. This trap's been on for a while as well.
Yeah. I could possibly see a risky play of Raider coming from for the unhook, trying to get Zinni out of the map. I was expecting maybe a body block from Raider because there's a really slim chance that Raider can get this hat off in time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is always a party. I always call them party hats, and the party hat is looking like it's about to pop, as we're going to be seeing the gate over towards 1 o'clock opened. I think that was Nina spotted, so potentially our Claudette is coming down for this save, and it could be happening any second now. But I think they might be trying to find Noed as well. I think one person's been dedicated or been chosen to find this Noed here, as we're going to be seeing the tunnel off now. This is... Noed was gone, actually. I didn't even realize. They cleansed it. I didn't even realize they cleansed the Noed. That is crazy. So these body blocks, but, you know, the gate's so far away as well, so you're going to probably potentially lose a player here. There is a high chance that Zin is going to get pulled out of this locker here. And Raider is still, you know, has that active party hat. And so we're going to have to see what Raider's going to do, because this could just be down to our Claudette, just the last player alive, and they might have to just take the two out.
Yeah, I don't believe that Zinni's going to die fast enough for Raider to get Hatch here. It is a pretty unfortunate scenario. Probably just, oh wait, no, opting to actually wait for Hatch to spawn. I think Nina, well, I mean, I think Raider is in a better position to get this Hatch. Yeah.
Oh my god. DDS.
Yeah, seems like we're going to be moving over to the main building and trying to go into like the town area. Moving over to our right here. Our town area is probably where our survivors spawn. We spot someone very, very quickly in a tile that Pig can actually play very well, especially with ambush, I'd imagine. This is one of her better tiles. We see a hit coming in probably really, really soon. And if we see the hit and the pallet drop here, that's going to be really rough. Oh, auto-aimed onto the pallet. That is so unfortunate.
Jeez, just cheesing that pallet drop as well. Very, very nicely done. And you are right as well, but we did find cheese very, very fast. But this is also, it feels very difficult sometimes, even as the Pig, even though you have that stealth ability, it can be really difficult to try to actually navigate, you know, these gyms like very well, because you just don't have any LOS.
I don't imagine we're going to be like seeing many ambush plays, because the just dead dog on its own does not really allow it.
Yep, absolutely. As you can see that Cheese has dropped chase. I think Nina just electing to choose, well, not to choose that chase with Cheese and just going back to those 3-gen and trying to bait out the Yui dance here, potentially heading over towards that main building with that first tag, Nina. And we are going to see halfway through our corrupt, or more than halfway through our corrupt, and you're going to see Dents here just going to be trying to play in this main building, and there is the vault, and there is the sound that you wanted to hear, especially for a Pig set. It is the bamboozle. Ooh. And that is a nice tag from Nina. Dents just getting tipped by the blade. Party hat on. Time to have some fun, Dents.
I could imagine Denz wasn't really too happy with that. I was going for a fastball, but it ended up in a medium. I could actually see Nina not going for a tunnel out here, because the win con doesn't really like call for that. No,
absolutely. I think that it's, I mean, at this point, it's just looking for those fresh hooks at the moment. I think hearing those 2 generators pop, and it very much, it was very worth it. I think that chase with Cheese was really, really, really rough. Not played badly at all by Nina, but it's just, it was a lot of time, and Dent's taking that chase over to main building. Though the down did happen, it was at the cost of 2 generators, and it looks like we're going to see Nina stealthing here and going for the tunnel out on Dents. Do you agree with this play?
If the downs come in really, really fast, then I actually would agree with the play. But it looks like we have a Jiggy going. Oh my gosh, that Jiggy was disgusting. Wow. It's gonna buy way too much time.
I think at this point, dropping the chase here, going back to that main building especially, I think is maybe not the choice here. Especially because we don't have any pain resonance here either, as we see the down on Dents.
I would agree with you, but like that down came in fairly quick. I think Dents had enough distance to go in the main building, but considering they didn't, there's a possibility that somebody is working on that gen right now and they didn't want to interrupt it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think this is potentially maybe a miscommunication from survivors, but maybe also good as well, keeping them away from main. As we do pass main, we don't see main being worked on. Gallows has been done, or Hangman has been done. And that is another gen in progress at 3 o'clock as well, and this one's highly progressed. This is really well played by the survivors. Actually, they've really done a great job at pulling Nina away from these more dangerous generators. And there is the wow.
Ooh, this gen progress is crazy.
Absolutely. And at this point now, I think your game plan might need to change. I think we need to look for a fresh hook to have any type of win con here. So we're going to be chasing down. It looks like Solar. Oh, it's not even Solar, it's Jonas. Jonas heading towards that shack, and this generator as well, also highly progressed. I mean, what do you think of this, Jesus? Does this change your plans at this point in time? You know, the 3 o'clock generator is really highly progressed. 1 o'clock is done, and you also still have main building as well, like we were talking about in that first go around with Pig, leaving potentially main towards the end.
I think all you can really hope for here is that the survivors make a mistake that you can capitalize on. And if you did see earlier, the survivors did opt to use For the People, which I'm not necessarily agreeing with, because we have an active trap on Dennis who is on Death Hook. So they don't necessarily need to be healed, I'd imagine, but Noah's going to be coming in now. And if we do get a down on anybody, that will be another fresh hook and possibly a camp out, but I'd imagine they're going to be finding their Nomad.
Wow, that was really well. I think that, you know, it was deliberate that down, just to buy a bit more time for Jonas. Jonas here towards that 7 o'clock side and going down as well. It's not the worst, but you know, this is still a really difficult endgame to navigate for both sides. I feel like any mistake here can cost them the game and the win con here, but I would have just hooked Jonas. I would have just hooked the Jake here at this point and left this player. Actually, I think that would be it. It's worth more, and then you can potentially come back and get another fresh, and they're gone. And this is really.
Although Jonas is worth more points, I actually do agree with killing Dennis first, so in the end game you actually just have to deal with 3 survivors instead of 4.
Absolutely. I think here though, like, I don't know, the reason why I think this is, you can have, there is a world where you hook your fresh hook, and then you know that someone's probably on the no-ed and someone's lingering around the pickup. You could probably bait out a player potentially, and actually either whack someone the last end of the no-ed potentially, because that cleanse came in quite late as well, and or you could knock down Dennis for another go around to reset that recovery here.
Just as a reminder, our win con is 5 stages, 3 fresh, or 6 stages.
Yes.
What I'm looking at right here, they're going to come in for a double save. If Nina can get an injure on somebody and then get an injure on the unhooker, have everybody injured at that like point when they're all running to the gate, this could end up being really poor for our survivor side. It's going to be a really rough double save.
Absolutely. And Nina here is going to just try to navigate this as well as she can, but it is difficult. I can hear that gate going as well, and that definitely puts on a little bit of pressure, but that hit onto Solar is a serious problem.
That hook is the win right there.
Wow.
That's it.
That's
Nina has got ice in her veins, man. Absolutely clutch endgame there.
Cold. Yeah, very cold. And that was, wow. I mean, the decision had to be made, and this was it, though. This was it.